Good evening. We call to order our West Valley City Council meeting. We note that we have a full council present. Everyone's here. To begin this evening, we will turn to Councilmember Don Christensen for the opening ceremony.
Being as today is Flag Day, I looked up the history of Flag Day, and I'd like to read you the one-page article that they have on the internet about that. And as I do that, Jake will play the 27 official flags that have flown over the United States of America, and the 28th one, which you're looking at right now, was never officially adopted. The 4th of July was traditionally celebrated as America's birthday, but the idea of an annual day specifically celebrating the flag is believed to have first originated in 1885. B.J. Segrand, a school teacher, arranged for the pupils in the Fredonia, Wisconsin, public school, District 6, to observe June 14th, the 108th anniversary of the official adoption of the Stars and Stripes as Flag Birthday. In numerous magazines and newspaper articles and public addresses over the following years, Segrand continued to enthusiastically advocate the observance of June 14th as Flag Birthday or Flag Day. On June 14th, 1889, George Balk, a kindergarten teacher in New York City, planned appropriate ceremonies for the children of his school, and his idea of observing Flag Day was later adopted by the State Board of Education of New York. On June 14th, 1891, the Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia held a Flag Day celebration. And on June 14th of the following year, the New York Society of the Sons of the Revolution celebrated Flag Day. Following the suggestion of Colonel J. Granville Leach, at the time historian of the Pennsylvania Society of the Sons of the Revolution, the Pennsylvania Society of Colonial Dames of America, on April 25, 1893, adopted a resolution requesting the mayor of Philadelphia and all others in authority and all private citizens to display the flag on June 14th. Leach went on to recommend that thereafter the day be known as Flag Day, and on that day school children be assembled for appropriate exercises, with each child being given a small flag. 2 weeks later, on May 8th, the Board of Managers of the Pennsylvania Society of the Sons of the Revolution unanimously endorsed the action of the Pennsylvania Society of Colonial Dames. As a result of the resolution, Dr. Edward Brooks, then Superintendent of Public Schools of Philadelphia, directed that Flag Day exercises be held on June 14, 1893 in Independence Square. School children were assembled, each carrying a small flag, and patriotic songs were sung and addresses delivered. In 1894, the governor of New York directed that on June 14th, the flag be displayed on all public buildings. With B.J. Segrand and Lavoy Van Horn as the moving spirits, the Illinois organization known as the American Flag Day Association was organized for the purpose of promoting the holding of Flag Day exercises. On June 14, 1894, under the auspices of this association, the first general public school children's celebration of Flag Day in Chicago was held in Douglas, Garfield, Humboldt, Lincoln, and Washington parks, with more than 300,000 children participating. Adults too participated in patriotic programs. Franklin K. Lane, Secretary of the Interior, delivered a 1914 Flag Day address in which he repeated words he said the flag had spoken to him that morning. "I am what you make me, nothing more. I swing before your eyes as a bright gleam of color, a symbol of yourself." Inspired by these 3 decades of state and local celebrations, Flag Day, the anniversary of the Flag Resolution of 1777, was officially established by the proclamation of President Woodrow Wilson on May 30th, 1916. While Flag Day was celebrated in various communities for years after Wilson's proclamation, it was not until August 3rd, 1949, that President Truman signed an act of Congress designating June 14th of each year as National Flag Day. And on this Flag Day, would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And we note that we have a scout troop here. I'm assuming this troop 144? Okay. We'd invite one of the young men to come up and introduce themselves to us, tell us why they're there, why they're here, and also what you're working on. What brings you here? Your schools.
We are here for citizenship in the community, and we're here for our tenderfoot.
And what schools do you go to?
IoT Farnsworth.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you. Welcome. Hope you enjoy your evening here.
And I might say, Mayor, that troop has a history of flag celebration. If we have any flags that are damaged and in need of destruction, they do this annually.
Okay. Same group?
Yeah.
Okay.
Separated in traffic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we welcome you here. Next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of May 24th. A motion from the council on the minutes.
Mayor, move for approval of the minutes of May 24th.
Okay.
Second?
Properly before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll place that for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passed unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next, we go to our comment period. And so we have Julie Erickson here to bring us some thoughts.
Yeah, it's just thoughts, because I haven't had time to prep anything. I was at the chief's meeting and somebody had mentioned to the chief of police about West Valley getting a dog park and maybe putting it out at the old animal shelter. I, as a dog lover, thought that was a great idea, but I'd like it closer to my area. So we could do two. Over by the Redwood Multipurpose Center, there's a lot of dogs that run in that open field. I know this has been brought up before. I've heard it through people that, I mean, we're the second largest city and we've got now a great skate park coming. So I think next, me and a lot of other people, I'm sure, think that a dog park would be great for our city. So I'll work on pushing that through, but it was just last week when I got the idea in my head. So I just wanted to throw it out at the y'all and see what we can work on in the times coming. Thank you. Oh, I'm Julie Erickson from Chesterfield, Derby Street. I forgot to put that up.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else here who wants to make any public comments? Seeing none, we'll bring it back here. Mr. Pyle, any comments?
No, sir, thanks.
City council members, any comments? Quiet group tonight. Oh,
Thank you, Mayor.
you're so quiet, I didn't notice.
Thank you for Julie Erickson, brought up tonight. I believe we've been talking about, we brought up dog park about 5 or 6 months ago, and it's good for us to maybe revisit again and see what we can do for our city. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I also want to comment on the dog park. I think that's a good idea. I think a lot of people would use it. I just hope you have the perseverance as was needed for the skate park. It's about, I don't know how many years or decades 10 years? At least 10, right? that someone was coming here reminding us every month or two that we needed to do a skate park. So it eventually worked, and okay. So we have one, right? Might have a few more good ideas in the meantime, so we gotta stack them up. But
Yeah, you know, I will.
You heard how long it took for Flag Day to get into out there.
Councilman Bueller, perhaps you'd like to clarify your comment that at the dog park, a lot of people would use it.
I think dogs need to bring their people with them. Get in.
Okay. The dogs would certainly use it. Anything else? Okay, then we'll move along to the next item on our agenda, which are resolutions. We have Resolution 16-94. This is to authorize the city to enter into an agreement with our health provider for employees, Select Health, to provide that insurance and benefits and services to our city employees. This would be for our fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th of next year. And so there has been an increase in that. There was a 14% increase in costs, which was fairly significant, but over the years in a trend, we have been significantly lower than most insurance provided to companies across the state. That traditionally has been higher, and we've been lower than that, and maybe now we're kind of catching up a little bit. We do self-insure through that, and so it's a good way to go and has been beneficial over the years. With that introduction then, turn to the council for any comments or action.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 16-94.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll turn to our Assistant City Recorder for a roll call vote.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hugh?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman North?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Aye. I don't know why there's a tradition that they leave the mayor till last, but I can't explain it. It's just what we do. Tradition governs a lot of what we do. Probably something in Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know. Okay. That passed unanimously. Then we go to Resolution 16-95. This is an interlocal agreement between ourselves, the city, and Utah Valley University. And this is for clinical training of medical students.
Paramedic students.
Paramedic students, yeah. Not all of them. Not medical students. Paramedic training program. And what they do, there is no cost to the city, but they're able to ride along and learn on the job and see how it is properly done. We also have an agreement with another university, so this is just kind of continuing on with that. We've done it before and seems to work out well. But in order to do that, we need to enter into a specific agreement. With that introduction then, we'll turn to the council for any comments or motions.
Mayor, I would move for approval of Resolution 16-95.
Second.
Properly before us now is a motion. Any comments? If not, then we'll turn to our Assistant City Recorder for the vote.
Mayor Bigelow?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hugh?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman North?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
I was almost speechless. Not quite. Next we go to Resolution 16-95. This is to enter into a right-of-way contract with Norton's and to accept a warranty deed and temporary construction easement at 7191 West Copper Hill Drive.
Mayor, 96,
What did I say?
95.
Okay, it really is 96. Resolution, thank you, 16-96. And that's over the canal where they're going to be doing some work. And these are routine types of items we enter into. The reconstruction of that, we have a small portion of it in conjunction with UDOT and the county. So this will allow them to do work there and get right-of-ways, and then as they work, they do encroach upon people's property a little bit, and they'll take care of that. With that introduction then, to the council for consideration of Resolution 16-96.
Mayor, I move for approval of resolution 16-96.
Second.
Properly before us, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll turn to our Assistant City Recorder for vote.
Mayor Bigelow,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Vincent.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Okay, now we go on to unfinished business or business remaining from previous meetings. And this is Ordinance 16-25. It will amend our city code governing the construction of certain single-family dwellings regarding basements. We did change our general plan, and we discovered that we had not made specific decisions regarding basements and whether they should be there or not, and how that would affect the construction of single-family homes in our city. And so it sets up that if they do have at least a 3/4 basement, then that goes in with our current requirements for construction as to the size of the home. If they do not have at least a 3/4 basement, then they would be required to add an additional 500 square feet to the floor plan of the home to compensate for that. I think that generally covers it without going into all of the details. With that, then, we'll turn to the council for comment or action.
Mayor, I move for approval of ordinance 16-25.
Second.
Properly before us, for the benefit of the scout troop here visiting us, if we don't just talk a lot about these, we do spend each week in a separate study meeting going over each of these items. So in previous meetings, we have discussed this at great length. So all our questions have been answered, and so if it seems like we don't talk a lot, it's because we do it in another meeting. With that then, as we do all of our items, very rarely do we have an item that we haven't discussed in a previous meeting. To our Assistant City Recorder.
Mayor Bigelow,
Were we going to have some discussion before we vote?
Yeah, if you want.
I'd just like to say that, I'm going to vote against this one just because I think that our minimum square footage is enough, and I don't want to require someone to put in a basement or increase it more, just to give them more freedom in what they want to do with their house building. So I wanted to explain my no vote before we voted. I'd encourage you to vote no as well, but I leave it up to you.
Any further comment?
Yeah, I would encourage you all to vote yes, because we have made a policy of improving our housing standards, and without this, what we've done is taken a step backwards, where in trying to increase the housing size so that we have more types of housing available, we increased the square footage but ignored the basement, took it for granted that those houses had basements. Now there's a loophole where people will just not build a basement and have a small house, which we have plenty of and too many of compared to other types of housing in our city. And so for those few places that are not built out yet, this doesn't change anybody's house that's already existing, but for those few new houses that are still to be built on a little bit of land left in our city, this will bring it into line with the policy that we had adopted and followed, instead of going back to business as usual, where if you're a builder and you want to build a cheap little house, come to West Valley.
Further comments? I think I would add just a couple of comments. When I was at the Westshire breakfast on Saturday, I brought this up to a number of the tables that were there with just citizens gathered around, talking to them about the change in our housing standards and the fact that of the 3% of the land remaining in our city designated for residential single-family homes, that we had increased the requirements. And given the large inventory we have of smaller homes in smaller yards, that this would kind of balance out a little bit our city, and got fairly positive responses. And so it was kind of interesting just to discuss that. I take advantage whenever I'm in a meeting just to try and talk with people and see what people are thinking. And I tried not to lead them into any particular point of view, but it seemed like I got a positive response when I explained what we were doing. So interesting. I just thought I'd add that. Any further comments? Seeing none, the motion is before us. We'll turn to our city recorder.
Mayor Bigelow?
Aye.
Councilman Vincent?
No.
Councilwoman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hune?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
No.
Councilman Nordfeld?
No.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay. Not everything passes unanimously. With that, we now go to ordinance 16-26. Make sure I get the numbers right. This is also a change to our code, and this is regarding, again, single-family dwellings. And this is to exempt certain properties from what we had set up originally. And I've got to get to that because there are 3 different situations where we're changing that. Oops, I'm still back on the previous one, excuse me. Didn't click hard enough to change it there. And those 3 situations are that we required a house to be a certain size on a certain size lot, but there are some exceptions to that. And those exceptions are a home built to replace an existing home built prior to April 15th, 2015, when they demolished the home and rebuilt it on the same lot. Second, a home is built on a vacant legal parcel of ground zoned for single-family dwellings, and it was in existence prior to April 15th, 2015, and there's no development agreement currently applicable to the property. The third is a home built on a legal developed single-family dwelling lot under 1 acre that was in existence prior to, again, April 15th of last year, but it's large enough to be subdivided to create no more than 1 new lot. And under those conditions, under those 3 conditions, then homes would be able to have a reduced area and a 2-car garage. We estimate that this will affect, let's see, the second exception was 130 parcels. So it wasn't a huge number, but there are some that this will affect. With that introduction then, to the council.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment.
Certainly.
Of course, the first exception could affect many, many lots if homes are torn down and a new home is built on that lot. And I think that this is an ordinance that's important to provide flexibility and allow people to redevelop in our city. These homes that many of us live in were not built to be 100-year homes. They were not constructed so finely or sturdily for that. And I think that over time, some of them will of necessity come down, or the remodeling would be so extensive that they might as well be torn down and a new home built on that existing foundation if possible. And this allows people to do that and redevelop and improve our city. And with that, I would move for approval of ordinance 16-26.
Second.
Any further comments? Okay. Seeing no further comments, we'll turn to our recorder for a vote.
Mayor Bigelow,
Aye.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Norfeld.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, that completes our regularly scheduled business. We do not have a need for an executive session. Any final comments from the council? Seeing none, then one final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. We are adjourned. It passed unanimously.